I'm Reverend Dr. Keith Cox, and I'm the spiritual leader here at the Center for Spiritual Living, Los Angeles. And I come to you live from the land of West Hollywood, California, which is part of Los Angeles. And we join you today, both live on Zoom and via Facebook, here in the land of California under a state of emergency, after a wild night of activity, of looting and sirens and police and chaos. And so today it's my invitation, as well as the community known as the Center for Spiritual Living Los Angeles's invitation, to have you join us today as we navigate these times that we're in during our service today in a manner and in a way which gives us an opportunity to not only go into that place of inner calm, inner peace, where chaos doesn't exist, but to create a new perspective on how to view the world today, the world that we're in right now. And so as we move into that time, I would just like to let you know that there's a very strong possibility that during this service, as we are alive, you may hear helicopters swirling overhead with their engines roaring as they have been in the last 24 hours. And I know that we have many of our community members who right now are in the absolute core of the chaos that took place last night, and I want them to know that we send them love and light. And also, many of them were part of the peaceful protesters that were in our community yesterday. I want to thank them in advance for the work that they did and they do. We've been listening to Yaron Spiewak play piano for us as we've been navigating everything each of us can do to get this technological rocket off the ground, if you will, for us today. And so he will continue with singing a song for us that many of you are familiar with, and I invite you to hear these lyrics in a new way today as we move into this time that we share together, knowing who we are as divine beings. Yaron, shall you carry us away, please? Thank you.
Thank you. From a distance, we are instruments marching in a common band. There are no guns, no bombs, no disease, no hungry mouth to feed. From a distance, we are instruments marching in a common band, playing songs of hope, playing songs of peace. These are the songs of every man. And God is watching us, God is watching us, God is watching us from a distance. God is watching us, God is watching us, God is watching us from a distance. From a distance, you look like my friend, even though we are at war. From a distance, I can just not comprehend what all this fighting is for. From a distance, there is harmony, and it echoes through the land. It's the hope of hopes, it's the love of love. It's the heart of every man. It's the hope of hope. It's the love of loves. This is the song of every man. And God is is watching us from a distance. And God is watching us. God is watching us. God is watching us from a distance.
Thank you, Yaron. A most comforting song during this time that we are being watched. But as we know in the teachings of the science of mind and what we practice here at the Center for Spiritual Living Los Angeles is the very God that we speak of is a power that is infinite by nature, that it is not only pervasive in all of life itself, but is the very power, the source of life for all life itself. And so you and I are both expressions of that power fully and completely and wholly at all times and during all activities of life. I'd like to welcome each and every one of you with us here today. We are the Center for Spiritual Living Los Angeles, a community that has been coming together for a little over 30 years now in the land of Los Angeles, California. We come together to celebrate the oneness of life that exists by means of you and by means of me. We're a metaphysical based philosophy, one that believes that life is transcendent of the physical experiences that we each have. What we teach here is primarily the teachings of Dr. Ernest Holmes and other related New Thought philosophies. The basic foundation for each of those is there's only one activity that's taking place. We call it God, but it matters not what you call it. You can call it the thing itself, as Dr. Ernest Holmes does, or life, or source, or light, or you can call it Bernadette, or you can call it yourself. It matters not what you call it. But what we're very clear on is that it matters that you call it. And you call upon it from that deep place within you, that reservoir of infinite mind that we each express. And as we call upon it and align ourselves with the qualities with which it is and we are, which are peace, power, beauty, joy, light, life, love, and wisdom, we experience more and more of that because our consciousness is expressing it by means of us. And so what it all boils down to is that you and I have the opportunity with every thought, every belief, every action, every reaction, and every interaction with the very thing itself, life, to manifest and magnify it, and in so doing change the experience not only of our own individual lives, but all of life itself, because this very power has a ripple effect as it moves out into the field of experience or effect, and then returns to us based on the spiritual laws of life that we live in and are one with. The vision statement for our beloved center is supporting individuals finding their personal self-empowerment through a spiritual awakening. And so in these times today, which are chaotic and certainly unsettling at times, no matter where you are in the world, please know that we as a community, the Center for Spiritual Living Los Angeles, support you and all of humanity in finding your personal self-empowerment through a spiritual awakening. And as our beloved founding minister, Dr. David Walker, used to say each and every Sunday morning when he was here with us on earth and guiding these particular services, we welcome one and we welcome all. And we do that today, welcoming you across the airways of technology, but we also do that welcoming all of life itself from that space of interconnectedness that we all share. And so as the service unfolds this morning, you'll see me on camera, as well as there are moments that I will move out into a slideshow that we're using through Keynote. I want to once again welcome and honor all of those of you that are joining us either through Zoom or Facebook, or who may see this at a later date through our webpage, csl-la.org, or whatever platform of social media that you may be watching it, to know that we do honor you and welcome you and celebrate you. I'd like to take a moment and introduce you to one of our musicians this morning. You've already met Yaron Spiewak. We're so happy to have with us as our guest musician, Melissa Lewis. If she's there and can kick her camera on to say hello, I may be surprising her in this very moment, but there she is.
Hello.
Hi, Melissa.
Good morning. Hello,
Welcome
sir.
from Redondo Beach, California. We're so happy to have you here with us, and we'll speak for myself and I'm sure all of our community to let you know that we are graced by your presence today and look forward to you sharing your talent and your gift and your light today. So I look forward to inviting you back in a moment. So thank you for being here.
Absolutely. Thank you.
You're welcome. So each and every Sunday morning, we open our service with a morning ritual, and that is the case today as well during these unique times. And so our morning ritual may sound a little bit different in this moment, but the purpose of the ritual is to show us, to remind us that we are indeed calling in the very light of life that we are, that we get to experience. And so the ritual that we're going to do today, and I'm assuming it is on the screen, that is one that will honor what is transpiring in our world today. And as I said earlier, it is called Calling in the Light. You see the flickering flame down below, and you will see that that light signifies and is symbolic of the light of all individuals as we not only honor it and call it in. And the images on the screen, I'm sorry, for some reason it's not on the screen, so let me go back and start this over. If you will all just be patient with me and all of us today as we move through some of these technological challenges that we have had preparing for today. So here we go. Now you can see on the screen the images that I was speaking of. The candle that I speak of with the flickering flame, honoring the light within each and every individual. And so today I honor that light within all of us, as well as seeing that light as it exists within each and every one of us as an energy field or a chakra field. Today, when we light our light of faith, our light of light within us, we do so honoring what is transpiring on this earth today. And so Gandhi has offered us a prayer in the affirmative that I shall state for us today, inviting us to hear it and affirm it together, knowing that we all indeed, through our thoughts and our beliefs and our actions and reactions in life from this moment forward, get to choose to be the change we desire to experience in the life, and to affirm and to know that indeed justice does exist for all. Our affirmative prayer is this: I offer you peace. I offer you love. I offer you friendship. I see your beauty. I hear your need. I feel your feelings. My wisdom flows from the highest source. I salute that source in you. Let us work together for unity and of peace. As we move into the next phase of our morning ritual, singing the song Let There Be Peace on Earth, and the lyrics will be on the screen in a moment, I invite you to bring into your mind's eye and individuals that you would like to honor the light in them, to choose to work together for unity and for peace. Yaron will take us along on this song, and at the end of that, I will speak an affirmative prayer. And I would like to just remind all of us that this song has been sung in Science of Mind centers or centers for spiritual living for many, many years around the world. And remembering that there is only one mind and one consciousness, and that energy is all pervasive and interconnected as that one, that we call upon all the energy this morning of each and every time it has been sung, the energy of the music and the lyrics. And we call forth for them to rise up in us today and be a catalyst for change with us as peace ensues. Your own?
Let there be peace take. Let this be my solemn vow, to take each moment and live each moment with peace eternally. Let there be peace on earth, and let it begin with me.
And so let there be peace on earth. I affirm for each of us in this very moment that peace exists on earth right now. That it has begun with each one of us. Remembering the acronym for peace of purposeful energy activates conscious evolution. And so in this moment, being in deep gratitude for being conscious and awake and alert and alive and having the ability to participate in choosing purposeful energy as it activates conscious evolution, we each align ourselves into this field of mind as a conscious evolutionist and affirm and declare and participate and act accordingly as a peaceful being. This doesn't mean that we are not catalysts for change. It means that we choose to rise to a higher vibrational frequency in life and purposefully use the law of attraction to attract humanity with us as we also use our human rights to invoke change on this planet and justice for all. And so today, we hold dear in our hearts all who have been affected on this planet by subjugation, racism, oppression. And we covenant and commit in this very moment to being present in our mind and doing our part as a conscious evolutionist. Today is the day, and we consciously participate, releasing this out into the universe to return to us and the earth and all who inhabited it made manifest. As we say together, and so it is. You've been introduced to our guest musical artist today, Melissa Lewis, already, and it's time for her to sing the first of two songs that she's going to share with us today. This woman is so dear to me personally in my heart and life. I've known her for many years, and we've shared some magnificent, beautiful times together of making a difference on this planet, and today is no different. So Melissa, thank you so much. I welcome you and honor you and your family. I know you've been through wild times in the last few months with you and your wife and your two daughters and homeschooling them. And just so happy that you're bringing that energy of peace and calm and here and healing to us today. So ladies and gentlemen and everything in between and beyond, I introduce to you Melissa Lewis.
Thank you. It's my pleasure to be here. Well, this is one of those moments when all that really matters is crystal clear. We are woven together by whatever threads of life that have brought us here. We are stripped of all our layers, we are getting to the core. Tell me something real and nothing more, 'cause I don't know why, and I don't know how. I don't know where. Maybe all I know is now. So I'm here between the bookends of everything that was and what will be. There's a wealth of information, not so many answers, it seems to me. So I face the unfamiliar, nothing is clear. Only blind and faith can carry me from here, 'cause I don't know why, and I don't know how. Well, I don't know where. Maybe all I know is now. Oh, hold my hand and hold this moment. Time sure feels precious, don't it? Life is changing, this I know. And I don't know why, and I don't know how. Well, I don't know where. Maybe all I know is now. Ooh, all I know is now. Ooh,
Thank you so very much.
my
That
pleasure.
song, you're getting applause from our congregation virtually, and I want you
Thank
to
you.
know that. And
Thank you
as
very much.
we know, you and I know that's one of my favorite songs ever. And certainly when you sing it, it resonates in my heart. And certainly on the way today where the lyrics are more true than ever. So thank you so very much,
My
Melissa. And we
pleasure.
look forward to seeing you singing for us at the latter part of our service. So thank you so very much.
Fantastic.
And
You're welcome.
much applause and light to you. And they're all saying thank you to you from afar. So I don't know why, the lyrics tell us. I face the unfamiliar and nothing's clear. Only blinding faith can carry me from here. I'm sure that many of you have leaned in on this faith as I have in the last 24 hours, the last week, the last 3 months, wondering when the energy of what's been transpiring on our planet will change into something different, when the pendulum will swing back to what we consider to be good, if you will. And so today I'm going to speak to you from a place of rawness, as we all are, for many of us. Certainly, if you've been in the middle of this, as many of us have been in the heart of Los Angeles last night and many other cities across our nation. And I got up this morning and recreated the message that I was going to share with you. And my initial thought as I was falling asleep sometime in the middle of the night was to just set up a format so that we could all talk and connect. And I want us to have that format. And I would like for you to know that once this service ends, in our traditional time, we'll open up this Zoom site for us to have that opportunity to talk if we would like to do that. And any of you that are joining us through Facebook Live, Robert will post the link for that and you can come and do that. But I decided that that's not the route that I'd like to take this morning, that I'd like to use a slideshow that I put pieces of it together this morning along with some of what has been prepared before to take us on a journey this morning of creating a new perspective and hopefully giving us an answer to the question why. Of when these lyrics say, I don't know why, and I don't know how, and I don't know where, because baby, all I know is now. That is all true, and yet deep within us, we do know the answer to why what is transpiring on this planet is indeed transpiring. And that we do know that we each hold some responsibility on how to create healing on this planet. And so during this time of chaos, I want us to take a look not only at our own role as metaphysicians on this planet and what we can do to be a conscious participant of change, but to also create a viewpoint of what has transpired from not only a spiritual perspective, but from a compassionate, humanistic perspective. And so that there, it is from there we go. And so it's from there I will take us on this journey. Our theme for the month of May has been growing forward when you can't go back. And all that is required for us to be aware is to be aware that we all know that there is no way we can go back to anything in life, and certainly not to what was. And I've spoken over the last month of how this sweet little photograph of this flower that is emerging through a flower pot that's turned upside down has found its way through the small hole to lean into the light and to fulfill its destiny as a flower. And I truly believe with every fiber of my being that that is true for you and I today, that we are all being called to not only fulfill our destiny as awakened conscious evolutionists on this planet, but to do that in a way that we hold that true for each and every individual as they navigate this planet as well. And to not only just know that in mind, but to do our part physically to invoke that each individual following and finding their light. And as I said earlier, I want to thank those of you who were out protesting peacefully yesterday. And I was torn with a bit of guilt for not being there, but I also know that the right time will show up for me to get up and do what I'm doing. And maybe that's what I'm doing right now. I trust that process. The theme that I had for us today, and I'm going to continue with it, is this, that it's time for us to not only grow forward when we can't go back, but to grow and to glow and to flow on this journey, and then to know what our role is as spiritual beings. To take a deep, deep look at what has unfolded on our planet and in our home communities of late, and to gather some understanding of why this indeed is happening. What has happened on planet Earth that has caused this chaos to ensue. I love this little meme here that tells us that instead of trying to go with the flow, let's try growing with the flow, and to use our energy in a way that we do indeed grow with the flow. And we can do that by tapping into our energy and using it, as I said earlier, in a way to invoke the change that we are seeking to experience in life, which is very difficult, I know, when we see ourselves in the eye of the storm. But if we take a look at that eye of the storm, what is really transpiring is Mother Nature doing its part to create something new and to eliminate that which isn't serving us. And so I invite each of us today and us collectively to ask ourselves, what are we willing to do to co-create something new on this planet and let go of that which was by riding out this eye of the storm? Because in the eye of the storm, there is calm. And even this very moment, I feel calm where I'm sitting in my home in West Hollywood, California, where calm did not exist 16 hours ago, if you will. And even as I hear the helicopter overhead right now, it brings back that energy that on some level is fear. But as an awakened metaphysician, and as Dr. David Walker taught us years ago, is fear is just simply our being telling us that there's more that we need to know. And what I know that there is for me to know and all of us to know is that the current events that have taken place on this planet are ones that rock us to our core. They've created a state of life, a state of the world that is certainly shocking. And I want us all to take a moment and give ourselves time to process what we have indeed been through in the last 2.5 to 3 months. We've not only experienced COVID-19 on this planet, which in and of itself is enough to stop us all in our tracks, but we've seen unemployment claims rise to an unprecedented level. We're experiencing racism in a way that is not only heartbreaking, but mind-boggling. There's been over 100,000 deaths from this COVID experience in the US alone. We see that there's been a loss of money, and certainly for some of us here today, our incomes have been slashed to what they were before, or we have great fear of what the future looks like. While at the same time, we witness daily on our planet the deaths of men such as Ahmaud Arbery or George Floyd, murder right before our very eyes, racial tension that exists in a manner that is almost beyond comprehension. Death is what has transpired before us and within us. And that calls for us to grieve what is taking place, to grieve the life that we knew, and to grieve that sense of safety that we had, grieve that sense of calm and comfort that we had in life, not seeking for that to return to normal, but to ask ourselves what is being called for to be birthed anew through us. If you look at the stages of grief that are here on the screen, you see that it's denial, anger, depression, bargaining, acceptance, which oftentimes can go back to denial, anger, depression, bargaining, and acceptance. And to know that these are not a linear experience, that they're an experience that oftentimes that will become layered, and it's hard to know what to do with that as we are feeling and experiencing. But what I know, having gone through grief in my life before and am going through it in this very moment, is to experience it, to experience the emotions that go with it, to give ourselves permission to feel what is transpiring on this planet, to be consciously alert and aware of the death that has transpired within us, before us, and around us, and to remember, as the symbol to the right shows us, which is a stained glass window showing the symbol of the science of mind, of conscious mind moving into subjective mind, moving into the law of effect, that cycle of creation, if you will, that we still have the opportunity, while grieving, while be aware of death, to use our mind and our thoughts and our actions and our reactions and our interactions with life and death in a way to call forth and to propagate good. And to be aware that this could all take place while we're experiencing anarchy, which is indeed what is transpiring in our world right now. But it's not transpiring in our world as a mistake. If we believe that consciousness manifests itself in form, that indeed, ladies and gentlemen, is what is transpiring. So the question that we have for ourselves is why, as the lyrics to the song also stated, why is anarchy a state of disorder due to the absence of it or non-recognition of authority existing? Well, I believe it's happening for a variety of reasons. One is the lack of leadership that is transpiring in our nation today. One that is time to be called forth to be called into a moment of change. That for us to use our democratic power in a way to step up and not allow this to transpire. But I believe that the reason for the anarchy is deeper than that. I invite you to take a moment in this very moment to think of the individuals who are out expressing this anarchy and these riots and this looting, and to ask ourselves, as they are being called thugs by our president, what it must be like to live your life from a perspective where your state of mind is that it is okay for this behavior. I'm asking you to not judge these individuals, but to do what is possible to put yourself into their state of mind. To put yourself into their state of mind and ask, why is this considered okay as a behavior to destroy others' property? My sense is that because they're of a state of mind that is unaware of their ability to invoke change in another manner. I'm not saying that from a place of judgment. I'm saying that from an understanding of the work that Dr. David Hawkins has presented to us that many of us have studied in regards to the map of consciousness, which shows that there is an evolutionary process in the mind of the individual where the individual lands on a consciousness that is the norm, that is the reason for their behavior so oftentimes in life during the developmental stage of their life. And so if you or I were in a state of mind such as these individuals most likely are, of anger or fear or grief, which vibrates at a very low frequency in regards to the evolution of the highest mind and consciousness in this context, then it makes sense that the behavior reflects this state of mind, that it is a belief system that humanity has not given these individuals the opportunity to learn and to grow and to live life from a perspective of those that have had those opportunities. And so I invite you today to open your mind to understand that if one lives from a place of anger or fear or apathy or guilt or shame, that of course the behavior or view of life is one from a place of being hopeless, of living in a state of being frightened, of consistently and continually being disappointed with how life shows up. And so not only do we hold responsibility today to physically show up and invoke and be a part of the change that we want to see, but to do that from the very basic fundamental part of the teaching of the science of mind, and to do that in consciousness, and to know and to affirm for these individuals as we walk the streets side by side with them, that they too are imbued with joy and love and reason, and to affirm that in a way that we attract into the greater experience of their world more and more of that which we know to be our divine nature. and to at least move into a state of acceptance and willingness and a place of neutrality as we participate in this healing that is being called forth in an almost incomprehensible manner on this planet. Meaning that it is incumbent upon you and I to not only view life from a harmonious and hopeful state of mind, but to act accordingly. To choose to be in this place of neutrality so that we can then move into a place of acceptance and in a place of healing by revealing through our actions the oneness of life itself. And to go beyond just knowing that the struggle of others is our struggle. As I've said many times before, we are just not our brothers and sisters' keepers, for we are indeed our brothers and our sisters, even when their behavior is contradictory to the values that we hold in life itself. For you and I to experience peace on earth, as we have sung for years and years and years, we must remember, for there to be peace on earth that was meant to be, it must begin with me. Me being the individualized expression of the allness and the totality and the completeness of life itself, which each and every expression of life is fully imbued with. As this slide from a couple of weeks ago that we used is bring me a higher love, meaning bring into me a higher love of acceptance, of recognition, of willingness to be the change we desire to experience, to see in life. To ride this wave of destruction that is taking place on our planet, riding this wave of unbelievable craziness that is transpiring on our planet, of riding this wave of unbelievable lack of leadership on a national level, and to open our minds and ask the question, not only why, but what is mine to do and where am I to go? Well, where we are to go is to flow, to grow, and to glow. We're told here that when life turns you towards a new direction, learn how to flow with the current. Embrace the growth these tides offer. As you swim beyond the waves, acknowledge how you start to glow from within. Today, ladies and gentlemen, as we also know who and what we are and what all of humanity is, we are here to not only ride this current, but to embrace the growth that is being called forth in these times. And as we swim beyond the waves of our current situation, to realize that this glow that will come from within is a radiance field of not only love, but a radiance field that is a result of us doing our part. For today is the day. Today is the day for you and I to begin anew. And we do that by choosing to have a light bulb moment. My light bulb moment was last night as I was watching a reverend on CNN as Don Lemon was interviewing him. And he was speaking of the state of mind of these young men that were looting, young men of color who do not have the same rights that we do. Young men of color that every time they walk out the door of their home, they're in fear. And as we all know in this philosophy and faith and way of life, that we are interconnected, not only from a place of humanity, but through our divinity. And if one human walks out their door with fear, we all feel it. And so today is the day for not just me to have this light bulb moment of seeing things anew, but for you to have it, and 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 you, and you, and you. It's through these light bulb moments that we can know in a new way that we are indeed here to grow, to flow, to glow, and to know in spirit that all things are possible. But the only way for that to transpire and for this healing to take place that is called for and required today is to grow and to flow and to glow and to know as spirit. To come from a place of our divinity of peace and power and beauty and joy and light and life and love and wisdom right now. And to remember that deep within us is the same DNA as in the cosmos, and that we are each this light of life, expressed uniquely and differently. And so today we begin to see the stars of life representing each and every human being on this planet from a new perspective. Today is the day that we choose to ignite these stars in a way by affirming for them that they too know who they are. And today is the day that we choose a new viewpoint, a new perspective, a new lens from which we view every person on this planet. And take a moment to step away again from the judgment and the anger around the destruction that has taken place, and choose to believe that out of the ashes is the possibility and the potential for a new way of life to emerge. And let's each affirm and declare and covenant and commit to do our part. Because let's remember that our lives are inextricably linked by the common thread of humanity. And if we break it, we're all undone. We've heard it before. And so today is the day for us to remember that we cannot live for ourselves alone. That our lives are connected by 1,000 invisible threads. And along these sympathetic fibers, our actions run as causes and return to us as a result. So let's choose our actions wisely. And let's remember that we're living both in a spiritual realm and a physical realm. And where do they meet? They meet in mind. For my mind, your mind, the mind of the looters, the mind of George Floyd, and even the mind of the individuals that are not leading our country appropriately are all interconnected. And it's important for us to remember that humankind has not woven the web of life. We are but one thread within it, that whatever we do to the web, we do to ourselves. And to remember that all things are bound together, as Chief Seattle tells us, that all things connect. Remember where we are connected. The mind. It's where we process that connection and express that connection that we also share in the heart. Everything is connected, for we are one. Albert Einstein tells us that every single person is a genius, but if you judge a fish by its ability to climb a tree, it will live its whole life believing that it is stupid. And wanted to share that today so that you and I can choose to believe that those who have created this destruction know who they are in a new way today as a divine being who has the ability to invoke change in a way that is greater than physical harm. And so, let's remember that the infinite nature of God exists, and to behold the heaven and heaven of heavens that cannot contain thee, that infinite nature. And to be infinite is to be without limits. Where there's limits, there's finiteness. Being truly infinite, God, source, the thing itself, knows no restrictions of space, ability, or power. It is everywhere. There are no edges or limits to its presence, nor are there pockets where it is absent. This is true right now for all of life, for literally every form of life and every speck of dust down to the smallest subatomic particle is influenced by the world through the various forces that act upon it. An electron is influenced by the charged particles close enough to have an impact, and from objects that exert a gravitational pull, and the electron behaves accordingly. To exist, to be in the universe, means that every particle in the universe feels some pull and push from the various forces around it. Otherwise, it simply doesn't exist. Thus, the electron perceives, as I have defined this term, and the electron is subject. This is calling for you and I today to be an influential push and pull, to use our energy in a way of healing. And so as we move forward from this moment, let's remember that as we step into the unknown, we discover that we indeed can be fragile and strong and terrified and brave and catalyst for change all at the same time. All at the same time. Today is the day. And so I close today affirming for you as I invite you to affirm for yourself, and close your eyes and take this in, please. There is only one life. There is only one who is aware. There is only one who is conscious. For there is only one, the infinite, immortal God. Remembering you can call it what you want. But if we dissolve and surrender into this infinite awareness, we will experience it in a new way. And today is the day for that experience. Let's all take a deep breath in together and let this settle as we exhale. Inhaling again together. And exhale. And one more time. And so it is. The next song that Melissa has for us is a song of action. It's a song that we had chosen before we moved into this time that we're in, and I think it stands appropriate still for what we're being called to do as we choose to be anew today on this planet. Ladies and gentlemen, excuse me, Melissa Lewis.
This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. Let it shine. Let it shine, let it shine. Everywhere I go. I'm gonna let my light shine everywhere I go. I'm gonna let my light shine everywhere I go. I'm gonna let it shine, let it shine, let it shine, let it shine. No more living in fear. We've gotta let our light shine. No more living in fear. We've gotta let our light shine. No more living in fear. We've gotta let our light shine. Let it shine. Let it shine. Let it shine. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine so bright. Let it shine, let it shine, let it shine. Let it shine, let it shine, let it shine. Let it shine, let your light shine. Let your light shine. Thank you.
I'm going to clap for everyone.
Thank you.
Because I know they're clapping. Thank you. And great instruction to let it shine, let it shine, let it shine. You're a gift and a blessing, my soul sister. I love you. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Yes. So let's all just take another collective breath in and exhale. Just letting the energy of that beautiful music that I'm hoping many of you sang along to as I did while being muted just take root in our soul to know that today is the day to let this little light of mine shine, let it shine, let it shine as it illuminates the pathway for this healing and change. So now is the time in our service that we come together to support our community financially. I want to let you know that all that you contribute is deeply appreciated and recognized and acknowledged as we work together as a community to make a difference on this planet and to support communities out there as being a tithing community to support communities in need. And I would be happy to share with any of you that would like to know who we have indeed supported, not only at any time, but certainly over the last few months. And so now is the time to do that, and I want you to know that your methods for doing that, as I put on the screen, these methods are as follows. You have the option to go to our website, which is csl-la.org, and click on Donate. You can go to the app in the App Store and do the same if you do not have our app on your device. That's the Center for Spiritual Living Los Angeles, and we would greatly appreciate you downloading that and using it. It's a great resource and a source. But there you can go to the left bar and click on the screen that'll come up and click on Donate. You can also mail a check to our office at 1200 North La Brea Avenue, West Hollywood, California, 90038. And if you'd like something other than that, you can call me, as my number is posted there after the service or at another date, and I will be happy to take care of that as well. And so while we all take a moment and do that, Yaron's going to sing for us our song that we use during our conscious giving, that love is my decision, which is most appropriate in this very moment. And I will close that with an affirmative prayer. So Yaron, I invite you to sing right now, please.
Love is my decision. It's up to me to give of my heart. Love is my decision. No one else can tell me to start. And once I decide to change my mind, source will show me how. Love is my decision, right here, right now.
And so I affirm and declare right now that not only is love is our decision, but we each are deeply grateful for the opportunity to participate in the flow of good. And on behalf of the Center for Spiritual Living Los Angeles, I say thank you for all that have contributed in whatever manner that is comfortable for them. We extend a hand and say thank you, knowing that all that is given today and contributed is a reflection of a consciousness that is in alignment with the law of circulation and the abundant nature of the divine. And so I affirm for each and every one of us that we give with faith, we give with trust, and we give knowing that the law of life returns to us that which we give, multiplied abundantly, invoking change on this planet and doing good. And so it is. And so I'd like to invite you to remember to keep your cameras off until I invite you to turn them on. And a big thank you to all of you today for showing up and participating in our service, whether you're here via Zoom or live stream via Facebook. I'd like to also give a big shout out and a thank you to our musicians today. Thank you, Melissa Lewis, for bringing your talent and your gift and your groundedness to us today. It's acknowledged and appreciated and touches my soul, and I know it does many, many others. So a big thank you to you, Melissa, and a big
Absolutely.
hello to
My
your
pleasure.
wife, Tanya, and your two daughters. So I know that
I'll
all of
send them.
you and your family stay safe. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
You're welcome. Also, a big thank you to, and I believe if any of you would like your music, can they access that through your website, Melissa?
Yep, or just go to iTunes. You can find me there, Spotify, wherever.
iTunes, Spotify, and Melissa Lewis, melисsalewis.com. A huge thank you to Yaron Spiewak, our co-music director, who was with us this morning, not only singing and playing music and playing the piano for us, but works diligently throughout the week to help set up what our musical talent and to help get us ready for this technological adventure that we have every Sunday morning. So thank you, Yaron. A big thank you and a shout out to our audio technician and video technician and all around sounding board for me through this journey of audio technical journey that we're on. Travis Smith. Thank you, Travis, for all that you do during the weekend on Sundays. As well as a big thank you to Robert Hensley. I said before that many of you do not get an opportunity to meet or see Rob, who is not only the administrative assistant in the office, but works with us through the field of technology and Zoom and Facebook. A big thank you to you, Rob, and certainly keeping me calm during these moments of technological challenges. And we certainly had those this morning, and we made it through the storm. I'd like to let you know that we as a community welcome and celebrate all of you who join and be a part of this today with us and each and every day, to let you know that I'll keep you posted of what's transpiring in our world as this week unfolds on our planet here. At a minimum, what we have is our coffee clutch, which It takes place on Wednesday. That may not happen this week, and I'll post to you all if that's the case, in the sense that I need to take a friend of mine in for some surgery. So just be aware of that. But we do have our Snappy Hour next Thursday, Snappy Hour chat at 5:30 Thursday afternoon. I invite you all to be a part of that, which is much fun. We come together and tell jokes and read poetry and tell stories, and that's 5:30 p.m. Pacific time every Thursday. All of this information can be found on our website, csl-la.org, as well as we can find it through our Facebook's Center for Spiritual Living Los Angeles, as well as in our app in the App Store, and well as Instagram. And so, as I stated earlier, we will close out this service today. I will guide us through meditation, and after the service, and I will let you know when, I'll invite you to turn your cameras on if you'd like to do that, and we can commune with each other and share coffee, as well as we can have an open dialogue around anything that's transpiring in the world, if any of you would like to do that. And so before we do that, we're going to close with a meditation. And so as I set myself up for that, if you'll give me just one moment, here we go. So as we each anchor ourselves in our space, just feeling the peace and calm that exist right now. I offer you peace. I offer you love. I offer you friendship. I see your beauty. I hear your need. I feel your feelings. My wisdom flows from the highest source, and I salute that source in you. And let us work together for unity and peace. So we take a deep breath in, 1, 2, and 3. As we hold it, exhaling out to the mouth, 1, 2, 3. Feeling this affirmation, this declaration, taking root in our soul. I invite you to bring into your mind's eye the face of George Floyd. And offer him the same on his journey of life. Now bringing into your mind's eye the face of a young man of color who leaves his home in fear. Affirming that this energy of offering takes root in his soul as well. I offer the same for his parents and his siblings. I invite us to offer it the same and bring into our mind's eye each and every aspect of humanity, of color that has walked this country in fear. And I invite us to offer the same for those individuals who are radiating anarchy. And so we affirm that the healing begins right now. And as we let our little light shine in a new way today, we honor and acknowledge the light that shines in every human being. And let it shine as we let it shine. And let it shine. And so it is. Thank you all for joining us today. If you're joining us